Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. How is everyone? Can you guys, I don't know if you guys can see, can you guys hear? Is the sound working? So hopefully sound should be working. Yeah. So Alhamdulillah, I've got time to make some live stream. So I thought I'd make a live stream with you guys. So social media Dajjals. This is recently with the incident of Abdullah and these kind of things. And hasanat. I think these are things which need us to kind of really reflect on who we're taking as our role models on social media. Don't even. My rule basically is anyone that is a social media celebrity, I think you should be very careful of them. Even myself, yeah. Don't look up to social media celebrities. Um, Sometimes you can even make them deceive themselves. So sometimes even a social media person, I mean, it happens to me as well. Sometimes people will praise my videos, people will praise certain things I say, and then it's just very, very, very kind of difficult to explain. But sometimes it kind of gets to you. Yeah, you kind of, you think you are good. You think that you are free of mistakes and sins, and that you're a very pious person. And this can happen. So this is why the Prophet ﷺ would tell people to be careful when advising, when praising people in their faces as well. Critics are very good. It's always good to have critics, people that will criticize, in the right way, because it keeps people in their lane. And especially when it comes to social media, the problem is a lot of general public, I mean, a lot of people who are on social media, they don't know how to use social media. They don't know how to sieve and filter social media and take the benefit from it and leave the filth. It gets all conflated, mixed up together. Uh, you know, just because there's a person has a lot of following, we use that as a measure to show that this person must know automatically about Islam. If a couple comes online, or if a guy with a beard or whatever, and he's got a good following, he's been on there for many years, people automatically think this guy qualifies just because he simply has a good following, and maybe he comes on the scene with some scholars now and again, or she does. So we have to be very careful of this. I always advise people that, look, with your teachers, benefit from your teachers as much as you can. Ideally, try to benefit from teachers who you can have a good access to. Um, you know, Sitting with them in their company, seeing what they really like, seeing the natural side of them, seeing what they like outside. That's the kind of way you're going to really benefit from a person. You'll see their weaknesses. You'll see, what, they're human at the end of the day. So I'll try to benefit as much as I can from this particular individual. And we see this happening, and we're going to see in the future as well happening more, where we're going to be shocked at things on social media, and we just got to be, mature, I think, about this. So social media, a very, very good platform for da'wah, for all these kind of things. But at the same time, every Tom, Dick, and Harry is coming on here and, making himself a name or herself a name. And then the sad thing is what happens is a lot of people, like, it's like fishing. They fish, they have this big net, they put it out, and slowly these fish get caught in the net. And then all of a sudden, the fish don't even realize it. One day, the fisherman just takes all the fish out of the water and just sells them off. This is what can happen to many of us as well, where we pin all of our hopes and all of our aspirations on these particular individuals, and then when they turn out not as we expected them to turn out, it kind of it eats away at our iman, our faith, and automatically we think that faith must be wrong. How can people do this? And then we go into this kind of psychological problems. And alhamdulillah, like many of you guys, I grew up in a time when there was no social media. In the 80s and 90s mostly, when there was no social media in madrasa. I don't really have a phone in the early 2000s, so I didn't really kind of grow up, with social media. But a lot of people, they grow up with social media from a young age, and then this kind of is going to have impact on them because that's the way they see life. They see life through this, and social media is a deception. This is like the perfect epitome of the dunya, what the dunya is all about. It's about people abusing one another. It's about people just, commercially, using social media for lucrative businesses, for their own profit, for their own gain. and you see these kind of vloggers fighting one another, insulting one another, all these kind of things that happen. And it's just like, is it worth it at the end of the day? So we've got to be very careful, I think. We need to use social media, use it for the best way possible, but at the same time, be mature about it. Remember that the people, I'm your brother at the end of the day. I'm not your peer or your sheikh or, your imam. If you learn from me, I'm your teacher, alhamdulillah. Right? I teach you. So if you are learning from me, that means you're doing the best thing that you can from me, which is to learn knowledge from me. If you ask me something and I have no idea about that thing, and I give you my answer, you have to remember my answer is like a lay person, like a general person. If someone asks me, oh, my car doesn't work, what do you think I should do? And I say, you know what, I think what you should do is just tap your car 3 times, kick the engine, say Bismillah, run up and down the road and tell people, say Takbir, and your car will stop. I'm just making something up. So we have to remember that many times when we look up at scholars or even celebrities on social media, we put them in predicaments, we put them in situations where sometimes they will answer a question even if they're out there late. People ask me about interpreting dreams. I have no idea. I have no training in interpreting dreams at all. At all, zero. Apart from the narrations I've studied from the teachers and the ayats, those I can explain those to you. I have no training in ruqya, nothing at all. Maybe a few incidents I've had with certain family members or relatives or friends who I've done some ruqya for, and it's worked. And sometimes it hasn't worked, but alhamdulillah, no kind of expertise in that. I have no expertise in, things like advice, family advice, marriage advice, children advice. Right? I don't have any children myself, so I don't know about how to advise about children. So when people come to me and they ask, oh, Sheikh, I'm going through a problem in life, I need some advice, I'm not the guy, because I have no training in giving advice to people. And a lot of people think that if you're a scholar, if you've done like a graduate course, if you graduated from madrasa and you qualified with an alim title or mufti title, they automatically think that you're good at giving advice. Let's call the scholar, let me contact the scholar, let me see what advice. If you ask me advice based upon legal matter in fiqh, in tafsir, in hadith, I can probably help you with that. But if it comes to something which is just general, there's people out there who are more well trained than me in giving advice on these things. And then the last thing I just want to mention is that people who come for advice are very vulnerable people. And so if they're vulnerable people, then we don't want people who are just tempted by shaitan and their own desires to abuse that individual. That's what we don't want. And unfortunately, this is what happens online, because there's going to be someone out there who wants to contact a celebrity or a particular, Facebook or YouTuber, and they'll contact them thinking that they can get some really sincere help, and then, it turns into something else. It turns into a bad relationship, or it turns into, some abusive thing, and that's something that you don't want to happen. So we have to be very careful about this, I think, right? When people ask me questions and they say to me, Sheikh, I need advice on this, I just tell them straight, look, I'm not good at this. Sometimes people contact me, they phone me, they text me, and I just say to them, look, if it's about marriage advice, divorce advice, it's best to speak to a marriage counselor. And that's the best thing. If it's something to do with maybe some sort of like a business, right? I think what you need to do is maybe speak to someone who's good at business. If it's to do with the fiqh side of it, the legal side of it, Islamically, is it permissible? Ask me, inshallah, I'll try to help you with that as best as I can. I can do that. But we have to remember that there's limits to what scholars can do. A graduate, someone who graduates from a madrasa, the only thing that he's possibly skilled in is understanding the subjects that he studied. He's not skilled in giving talks. Giving talks is something you learn on the side. I learned how to give talks. It wasn't to do with madrasa. It was actually just my own passion about giving talks, and I learned that on the side. Writing, calligraphy. That's something I learned on the side, my own passion. And so, these are the kind of things I think we need to be mature about, and because we don't want to fall into this. It's a very shameful, kind of embarrassing thing when we've supported people like Hassanat and Abdullah. Many people, I never used to watch them. I just saw them a few times, and it crossed my mind that, subhanAllah, look, there's a lady and she comes in niqab. Even though I don't agree with a lot of things she might say, but there's people out there who will look up to her, who will have aspirations, and it's always in the back of our mind, just think, I hope she doesn't take her hijab off. I hope she doesn't do one of those, all of a sudden she's become conscious and now she understands Islam better than everyone else, right? And then it hasn't a toppling impact, a dominoes impact on everyone. Everyone who watched, they feel really bad. How were they duped in this? So anyway, that's my thoughts on this Dajjal social media thing, and I hope Allah protects us. That's the main thing. We don't want to backbite anyone. We don't want to fall into this. None of us is perfect. I'm not perfect. Yeah, we're not perfect. Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, He conceals our sins. He conceals our faults. But we try to help people. I try to help people as much as I can in the thing that I personally believe that I'm good at. So the thing that I think I'm good at, I try to help people. And if people can benefit from me in that, good. If people can benefit from me in medicine, that's not good. Yeah, if you guys got cured from some medical illness because of my advice, then that's something messed up there. Something really messed up there. Anyway, wa alaikum assalam Unknown Era, wa alaikum assalam Wahid, wa alaikum assalam AA, wa alaikum assalam Muhammad Tariq, Nasir Hussein. Yeah, definitely agree. MashaAllah. أنت أفضل المعلمين إن شاء الله. May Allah make me one of those. Do you think it's also important that people shouldn't aim for unreachable spiritual levels? Definitely. Don't go for unreachable spiritual levels. Don't go for it. Just do what you can. Speak if you need some like spiritual advice or something. Speak to like someone who's kind of got a lot of experience in that field, and that's how you can push forward. What is your syllabus for the Alim course? My syllabus. I mean, first of all, study Arabic language, very good. You can actually check. I've got online. I've got a four-part series on the Alim course. Check that on my YouTube channel. Explain it, detailed it. Excellent advice. Jazakallah khair. Do you think that Alims should also study things like biology so that they can be all-arounders? I think they should study things, just touch on things. They shouldn't study in detail because it's pointless. If you're going to study biology, why are you going to study biology for? Why do you need to know about cells and why do you need to know osmosis and why do you need to know about these kind of things? I think it's useless unless you want to go into it in depth. If you just want to touch on things, you can get lots of crash courses where you can study things like medicine, but it's pointless. Like if someone studies, for example, biology, a scholar, what are they going to do with it? Like what's the whole point of it? Nothing. They can't really treat anyone. Yeah, it's just, if a scholar wants to go, I think every scholar should go into something in the dunya kind of sphere. Maybe going to accountancy. I know some scholars who go into accountancy, become accountants. Some go into law, some go into teaching, some go into... I think scholars should also have a touch with society. Yeah, I think that's important. To get a polymath nowadays who knows everything like the olden day scholars, I think that's just silly. That's just, just people just living in a dream world. Because in the olden days, science wasn't that nuanced. Nowadays, it's so nuanced. Just to go into biology, you can spend your entire life just in plants. Or just in the human, certain types of human disorders or whatever. So I think, it's good to go into, but not really kind of delve into it. Wa alaikum assalam, Google user. Astaghfirullah, you use Google. You're a abuser of Google. Astaghfirullah. Wa alaikum assalam, Haji. Vaisal, okay, yeah, Vaisal. MashaAllah, Vaisal. Nice to see you, MashaAllah. I see your recently you had some calligraphy and you had some of your posts. I can't understand them because they're in different language. But MashaAllah, you're looking very nice. MashaAllah, you're a very handsome man. May Allah keep you looking good and healthy and protect your students as well. Wa alaikum assalam, Ibrahim Atar. Jazakallah khair. I read your comments all the time. MashaAllah, you get so many nice comments for my feedback for my videos. May Allah protect you and keep you happy. Like Ibn Sina, Ibn al-Khwarizmi, Ibn Haytham, they were big scholars as well as engineers and doctors. Yeah, I mean, in their time, it was easy to become basically like a doctor because it was very kind of, simple. But nowadays, it's not that easy. Okay. Alhamdulillah, ana bi khair, ya Ibrahim. Haji, do you offer an Alim course? When yes, where can I see and read more? I don't have an Alim course at the beginning. On my YouTube channel, the videos I make is basically pushing towards that. So yeah, that's the only kind of Alim course I can say I have. But I am thinking in the future, I want to have a small group of students, no more than 5 or 6, maybe, and I want to teach them everything that I know. Right, that's something in my future, one of my future kind of plans I've got in the pipeline. It's going to have to be dedicated students, and I'm going to teach them, inshallah. It's going to be, hopefully, there won't be any charge or anything. Yeah, so it's just I'm looking for, dedicated students. It's going to be a long-term thing, in maybe 10 years, 20 years. But I'm going to teach them from scratch, everything, from beginning to end. And they're going to be dedicated, inshallah. So yeah, I do have a plan for that. but it's not for everyone. Questions like, can we borrow loan from bank at the rate that is less than the current inflation rate? Will it still be considered interest? You can borrow a loan as long as there's no interest. The problem with inflation is because it fluctuates. Some scholars have an issue with that. So some scholars say the inflation rate is considered to be a form of interest because it goes up and down. And other scholars say that's something that we can't avoid. So the real issue is with interest. So if you think you're not going to fall into interest, it's possible to take. Wa alaikum assalam. Sister Aisha, I am saying because nowadays there's a big gap between ulama and awam, especially in Pakistan. The awam hate ulama because there's too much gap. I mean, in the past, people used to study both deen and dunya in mosque. Yeah, I mean, yeah, what I think is that students should study GCSEs, A levels. That's like a must, I think. GCSEs and A levels and do an alim course. I think that is a must. So at least you should have a good understanding of like the world. So for nowadays, in the past they didn't have GCSEs and A levels. That's what they didn't have. But nowadays they do have that. So Dars Nizami was actually set up in a similar fashion. So I think if an average madrasa student does good GCSEs, good A levels, then does the alim course after that, I think that's the best thing. From my experience, a lot of people have done that, and I did that myself. They benefit a lot. Jazakallah khair, Ibrahim. May Allah ahabbaka alladhi ahbabtani fihi. I used to start page, not Google, it's just a name. Okay, yeah, don't worry. Use Google, yeah, trust me. Yeah, Google needs to be used, yeah. Let's start a movement. Please let me know when you start doing it. Inshallah, I will. I'll let you know, inshallah. It's like they either choose deen or dunya. Yeah, so I think the problem is that many institutes, like in madrasas that we have, the mentality of many parents is, I want my child to become an alim. I want them to become an alim. I want them. And you think, why do you want someone to become an alim for? Do you know that it's not just about learning about the ilm? You need to have a person who can communicate with the world. So if you got someone who's done the whole alim course, memorized all the books, but they can't communicate with the world, that's useless. So I think the mentality of people in the UK especially needs to change. The alim course is good. First of all, alim course needs a lot of revamp and changes. And secondly, I think that people need to realize the importance of being able to live in a society as well. Communicate with the society, public. Okay, Shahzeb, wa alaikum assalam. I like your name, bro. Shahzeb, that's like the king of jewelry, of ornaments. Yeah, Shahzad, the prince. Allah, there's a killer name that is. Where have you studied? I studied in Karachi, Pakistan. Karachi. Assalamu alaikum, Naeem Anthony. How does a person grow in conversational Arabic if you already know the basics but find it challenging and mouthful to speak? Okay, what you need to do, Naeem Anthony, is get like-minded people, make a WhatsApp group, and then speak with each other. You need to do that, trust me. That's the first step. And that will break your shyness of constructing sentences, and even you can use voice notes to speak. And I'm on a group where we have some brothers and they communicate. It's just in Arabic, and sometimes they usually kind of type. But you can make a group of your own where you kind of just speak. Naveed Anwar, mashallah. Is this Naveed Anwar from the first year? Wait, how come you're not in class? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. What's the difference between maghfiratuhu between Islamic and what's the difference between Islamic and non-Islamic mortgage? So the difference basically is the process of how you get that. So for example, like if I want to get a house, I've got two options. I go to a bank, they give me a loan, and then I have to pay back the loan. Yeah, but I pay back the loan plus interest on top. That's haram. The other way, the Islamic banks, what they do is they will do what we call, they purchase the property and then they'll sell it to you. So they act as like the middleman. So they buy the property and then they sell it to you for a higher price. Does that make sense? So if I buy it from the bank, I have to borrow 150,000 and then I'm going to be paying back 50,000 on top. So altogether 200,000. If I buy it from the Islamic bank, they buy the house for 150,000 and they sell it to me with a profit, a cost plus. That's how they sell it back, 200,000. Okay, I'm gonna have to go now. Azan time, as you guys can hear. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Yes, agreed. Yeah, I mean that's my personal opinions. And there's other people that will disagree with what I say. I have searched but didn't find Diwan of Imam Shafi. Uh, Diwan of Imam Shafi. I mean, on my channel, my video channel, it's under poetry, Arabic poetry. I haven't done all of Diwan Shafi. I haven't done all of it. Wa alaikum assalam. Terate Melur. Vessel, I mean the PDF. Oh, you want the PDF? Okay, put it in the comments after this video finishes. Put it in the comments, and then I'll remember, and then I'll show you a link. My lady, Spot, wa alaikum assalam. GGGGK. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. Could you elaborate on the topic of taqleed from a point of a muqallid? How crucial is it to absolutely strictly stick to one madhab, e.g., Arab Hanafis tend to be more lenient? Zidin, Isa, Hayyak Allah, Shaykh, Shaykhana. Ya Hayyakum, wa Bayyakum, wa Marhaban Bikum, Ya Zidin. Unfortunately, I won't be able to answer any more questions because Maghrib time, and because of Maghrib time, I have to go and pray. So I'll try maybe next time, or what I can do maybe is I will try to come back. Yeah, I will try to come back. Actually, I won't be able to. Right. Anyway, Jazakumullah khair. Thank you very much. And next time I will see you guys. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.